So in a previous video, I spoke about the Freedom Charter. That video did really well, part 1 and part 2. So it's clear to me that people are really interested in the political history of this country. And because of that, I've decided to take it one step further. Welcome to part 1 of the Rivonia trial. To understand the Rivonia trial, you don't start in the courtroom. You start at a farm in Rivonia. On the 11th of July 1963, police raided Lily's Leaf Farm, the underground headquarters of Mkhonto Sizwe, and 13 key individuals were arrested. Those arrested at Lily's Leaf were Walter Sisulu, Govan Mbeki, Raymond Matlaba, Ahmed Katrada, Lionel Rusty Bernstein, Dennis Goldberg, Arthur Goldrich, Bob Heppel, Abdul Hay Yassat, Andrew Mndlaleni, Musa Mula, Elias Motsoaledi, and Harold Wolpe. What happened to the 13? Not all 13 would stand trial. 5 of them were removed from the case before the trial even began. 2 of the 5, Arthur Goldrich and Harold Wolpe, these 2 men were held at Marshall Square Police Headquarters in Johannesburg, a high security facility. And yes, they escaped. If that's what you were thinking, yeah, they escaped. From there on, they fled South Africa and went into exile. Bob Heppel, another individual, agreed to become a state witness. He was released by the authorities on the condition that he would be a state witness. Surprise, surprise, he left the country before testifying and went into exile. The remaining 2, Abdul Hay Yassat and Musa Mula, these 2 were arrested but did not form part of the final trial. So essentially, only 8 out of the 13 actually went and stood trial. But there was 10 people that went on trial. Where did the other 2 come from? Well, the other 2 was Nelson Mandela, who was already in custody at that stage, and James Cantor, who was an attorney in Johannesburg. The outcome of the trial: convictions: Mandela, Sisulu, Mbeki, Matlaba, Katrada, Goldberg, Motsoaledi, and Mlangeni. I think I did better there. Not convicted: Rusty Bernstein, James Cantor. Why is this important? Well, because you see 6 of the individuals, in other words, almost 50% of the individuals involved, namely Dennis Goldberg, Rusty Bernstein, James Cantor, Arthur Goldrich, Harold Wolpe, and Bob Heppel, all just happen to be Brazilian. Why is this important? Well, growing up, I've always heard that there were a lot of people in this country, in the white community, that were against apartheid. And the Rivonia trial was referenced often. People would say, oh, look at all the Europeans that were involved in the anti-apartheid struggle. This is factually incorrect. There was not one European on that list. Not one. As I said earlier, all of them, the 6 that I mentioned, were Brazilian. I hope this changes your perspective of what was going on at the Rivonia trial and the actual real sentiments of white South Africans with regards to apartheid. Stay tuned for part 2. It's going to be a banger.